Welcome back, everybody. Here we go again, carrying on from where we left off, basically. Hope everyone's okay out there in Internet land. I've had some food. Floods are coming up at last, which is good. And now we're going to make our way to our next objective. And then from there, onwards and upwards. So what do we need now? We need a box of nails and a sharpening stone. We're pretty much cooking on gas. We are there. Going the right way. So the aim is to get us down to like here somewhere, then down to this corner, then across, and then where we're actually going to head for. Playing on the GoblinZ or GoblinZ server. There are players out here. It's a 20 slot server. Hardcore survival. 60% nerf of all items, no vehicles. Harder zombies. Duos. Everything spawns in ruined apart from like military boots in military camps. A couple of 3 extra weapons but fit into vanilla world. Highest weapon is 308. Best armor is plate. But some fun things you can do. You can wear pouches on the back of your belt. So you can also wear a shoulder bag as well as a rucksack at the same time. So you can get a bit more storage. You need a map, you need to find one, or kill a priest, because they always carry maps, because they want to show you the way. Happy Easter out to anyone out there that celebrates Easter. And if you don't celebrate Easter, happy Pagan Bunny Day. New life and all that. Because let's be honest, it's a pagan celebration. But we don't talk religion. Tonight I am drinking, back on soft drinks tonight, so I'm on some sort of raspberry flavoured energy drink with added bits and pieces, and some vitamin water for good measure. I'm streaming from the UK. It's currently 1936, so 7:30 p.m. We do need to have a fire, but I want to come and just check this place out first. Before we go in there, I need to set my next objective. And we'll move that across. Bring our objective, we'll come down to like here somewhere. And there to cook. There's no reason to go there. The portal thing. Get out of here. Don't want to fight multiple Zeds. Certainly don't want to be shooting. Don't have enough ammo to use them up on Zeds. And military Zeds are harder to fight. no trader on the map. I was going to say airdrops, obviously, but the airdrops are all base building supplies. No safe zones. Build where you like. No restrictions on where you build. You want to build in a military camp, you build in a military camp. You want to block a well off? Block a well off. It'll be already wet. We are, so we can swim across. Oh. Running on the Chiemsee map, which works really well for a small dedicated server like this. So we're going to get this steak cooked up, dry ourselves out a bit. And somewhere to bushes. Past that one. That joy of working out where you've left your... Back here somewhere? I know you're hungry, mate. We're trying to sort it. Wasn't that far up. Downside of having tall grass, losing your fireplace. We're not going to look forever. White tree is what we're going to use. Fails first time. Yep. Second time. Ah, we've now got broken gloves, have we? All right. Good. We need a long stick. Berries. Let's get some cooking done. Doo-doo-doo. I'm going to cook the lot. I don't know when I'll get a chance to cook. Hi there, how are you? Welcome. We're just keeping ourselves alive at the moment. Lack of food. Only got this last piece to cook, and then we need to dry out. Yeah, probably. Then we carry on operation trying to find nails and a hammer and a sharpening stone. Ruined. Fine, ruined. I can go on the floor to dry out. I can get wrung out. Ruined. They're damp so they can dry out. That's fine. Let's get that repaired. We did have some berries to eat, didn't we? There we go. They're not cooling down because they're in the bottom bag. Be purified while we're waiting. got an exam on oral diagnosis and radiology tomorrow. Hope dentistry pays me well in the future. I'm sure it will do. Sure it will do. You'll get eventually, won't it? Good luck with the exams, though. You wouldn't want to see the state of my teeth. For certain. Right, move out. I've got... my front upper tooth is chipped away at the back. Behind. I've got a chip missing from there. And one of my upper rear teeth has a cavity, let's be honest, a hole in the back that I can't afford a dentist at the moment, so I've been using emergency dental filler that you can buy online and filling it. But the worse the teeth, the happier the dentist. Exactly. I just can't afford for a happy dentist at the moment. But I will be at some point. In the next 6 months, I'm going to be in a position that I can afford to have my mouth fixed. So, well, not completely, but the holes, the bits that need sorting will be sorted. Our next objective is that town there. But we'll get there by crossing the river down there somewhere. How hungry I was. 3 steaks so far. Yeah, you have. I mean, I haven't done a lot either. So 2 months ago, my mother passed away, late stage dementia. Remember, you were at 300 followers back then. Yeah, and now I'm nearly on 1200. And then, so I've been really busy for the last couple of months, just dealing with that life. Which is where in about 3 months' time I'll be able to afford to get my mouth fixed, because I'll inherit some money. And in the list of things to do is buy myself somewhere to live, pay off my debt, fix my mouth. Basically, sort of in that order. Pay off debt. Thank you. Thank you. Well, pay off debt first, then buy a house, or buy an apartment, buy a flat. Move. And a little bit of money in investments, and then some money put aside for dentistry. Just to fix what I've got now. Yeah, that's sort of the aim. I had a really... So, coming up to November, I had 800 subs. And I about, no, 750, something like that. 750, 800, just under 800. And I had a video at my level go viral and have 40,000 views in a week. And that pushed me to 1,000 subs really, really quickly. And then I had a second video do 5,000 views. And then a third video do 11,000 views. And then I hit the 1,000. And then suddenly I'm earning a little bit on adverts as well. And my aim this week, so I'm off this week, is to try and hit the 1,200 mark. But I'm gaining 5-6 subs a week now, even if I don't make any content, just based upon the videos that I've done that are out there that are still gaining views, which is really nice. But yeah, so that's the plan. That's basically the plan, is pay all my debt off, because I've always had debt. Since I was 18, I've had debt. So to be debt-free will be amazing. Once the debt's paid off, buy myself somewhere to live and pay for it outright, so no mortgage to worry about. So again, I'll be better off because it'll be my own. I've got money within there, enough money to furnish the place, because I don't, you know, I rent a room now where all the furniture is provided, so I'll be starting from scratch. And then I'll still be left with realistically enough that I can spend a couple of thousand getting things, my mouth, in order. Which is a worthwhile investment. Even though I know it will be painful and horrible and I'll hate it. But once it's done, it's done. I'm sure the dentist will rub his hands together, or her hands together, and go, "Oh, Mr. Palfrey, Mr. Goblin. Ah, that's an interesting set of teeth you've got there. How much can you afford to spend?" Or lack of teeth. So yeah, that's the aim. That's what I'm aiming for. And we're about 3 months away from it happening. Where are we now? April, May, June, July. Yeah, July I'll get the money. Realistically-ish. And then it'll probably take me 8 weeks to buy a property and move in. Ish. So end of August, sort of. Be in my own place. There's a couple of places I'm interested in that have been on the market for quite some time. So hopefully they're still... One of them hopefully still will be. Because it's not everyone's cup of tea. And the other one, there's lots of apartments of the same price and they come in and out all the time. But that's a bit more expensive. The cheaper one would be a better option for me. Because it would still give me security. And I'd have more money to play with. Yeah. I'm always fine with dentists. I'm always quite upfront with how I am. You know, I'll tell them they make me nervous, but I'll do as I'm told. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to having somewhere to call my own. And having the budget to put in new furniture. You know, rather than buying second-hand beds and a new mattress, actually being able to go, look, I'll have a good bed and a good mattress and a good television and all the other bits and pieces that you need. Because I'm only going to be able to afford to do it once, so why not get some good stuff? You know, I'm probably 13 years away from retirement, and it'll put me into a position where, when I do retire, the bills will be my only outgoings. I won't have to pay rent, won't have to pay a mortgage. It's going to be amazing. Personally, I don't have the motivation to furnish my rental as much as I'd like to because I invest in someone else's house. Yes, I'm with you on that, 100%. So yeah, so that's what, and then when I do move, for 6 months, I'll be able to stream and make content, but it just won't be 4K. because the internet there is not fast enough for 4K, but it will be by Christmas, the areas I'm looking at. So it'll be 2K content until that time, which my monitor will do. I just switch it into 2K mode. Or I'll downgrade it using OBS. I'll play it at 4K still and have it spit it out at 2K. It'll be a massive difference. You know, at the moment, when I never talk finances, but I don't mind. I'll explain how it is. You know, at the moment, I pay £600 a month, just over, for my rent, and then my debt is about another £500 a month of paying back loans and credit cards and such like. The debt will be gone, so I'm straight away 500-ish a month better off. And then the bills for the new place will be around 450 a month. It's going to feel like I've had a massive pay rise. It's going to feel like a considerable pay rise, which will be really nice. And it might mean I can afford to do other things, you know, in the summer, maybe take a holiday. I haven't been abroad since the 90s. I could afford to do that, which would be nice. See a bit of the world again. And I've got a passport sat here, it just never gets used. Maybe buy guns and do gun reviews. I'm in the UK. Buying guns and doing gun reviews is probably not a good idea. But DayZ at 2K will still look like this. People will notice a difference. The algorithm will for a short while. But what I'd probably do is record content at 4K and upload it. I'm not in my 60s, but thank you. Yeah. So we can. So there is gun ownership in the UK is a difficult subject because I grew up in a world where everyone owned guns. No, not everyone. Where the laws were less strict as they are now. Heli crash. I'm not crossing that gorge. So, pistol. The biggest pistol caliber you can have in the UK that's not black powder is 2.2 long. Rifle, you can have anything if you've got a justified use for it. Now that could be a target shooting, or it could be animal control. Military weapons, as long as they're single load, so no magazine. So, or sorry, that's not fair. No, you can have a magazine on say 5.56, so you can have an M4, but you'd have to cock it every time. It can't be semi-automatic or automatic, unless it's in 2.2 long. So to get around the firearms laws, a lot of firms make 2.2 long versions of their firearms to sell to the UK market. So I could buy a M4 chambered in 2.2 long, belong to a gun club, and go tactical shooting every weekend, firing at targets that will fall down when hit, and doing practical rifle, practical pistol, practical shotgun, as long as it's in 2.2 long. With shotgun, you can have any gauge, but you can't have more than 3 rounds in the weapon. So if you have a pump action shotgun, I'm 53, yeah. So if you have a pump action shotgun, you have to have maximum of 3 shells. So 1 in the chamber, 3 waiting to go in. Unless it's 2 shot shells. And if it's 2 shot shells, you can go back to having the same as anything you like. So that's basically ish, in a very, very small way of describing it, how UK firearms legislation works. From a keeping it point of view, weapons need to be kept away from ammunition, bolts need to be kept away from weapons and ammunition for rifles. They need to be police-approved cabinets, and you have to have a doctor's medical to be allowed to have that weapon. You often have to own your own property because people won't allow you to put gun cabinets in rental properties. It makes them a little bit twitchy. Or have access to an armory that you can use. So because I work for the military, I could potentially keep a firearm at work in the work armory. And that's how it basically is. It's fine, we're used to it. But when people say, oh, you live in the UK, no one's allowed to shoot, it's not strictly true. You just got to have a legitimate reason to shoot. But I fired Barrett Light 50 as a civilian over here. I fired M4 2 long. I fired MP5 in 2 long as a civilian. There's a club near me that does experience days, and for my birthday about 10 years ago I took me and my mate to a day's shooting, and we fired M4 2 long, which was good fun. And I grew up in a shooting world. My father was a deer stalker, so I grew up when, as a child, we had, well, a couple of 12-bores, a 2.2, a 2.22, a 2.43, a 2.70, and a 300 Winchester Magnum rifles. Yay. Now we're dry. I want a way across. Yeah, but that's just... Right, I think what they did was, rather than ban it outright, which is what they would like to have done, is they put a loophole in place to allow the shooters to still have something to do, if that makes sense. So the 2 long rifle bit was their way around it. It is what it is. People are very anti-guns over here. I grew up in a world where shooting's normal. I work for the military where shooting's normal. So I'm not in that sort of world, but as a whole, most people in the UK are very anti-firearms. Our police force still aren't routinely armed. We do have armed response teams that are always patrolling, but our actual policeman on the street is not carrying a firearm. I'm sure in time that will change, but at the moment it's fine, it works. Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is. We can't change it. They're never going to change the laws. They're only going to make them tighter. So we just sort of let them get away with it. Because there's nothing you can do. As a whole, our politicians aren't pro-shooting. And because the country's quite anti-shooting, any politician that wanted to change the laws back towards a pro-shooting way would never get voted in again. And we need a way across this that doesn't involve getting wet through. So it's all manner of things. It's not so much the US. So if we go back to, don't ask me the era, we had something called Hungerford happen where we had a madman running around with a AK-47 shooting people. So at that point, they banned all semi-automatic and fully automatic military rifles. Outright, done. And then we had another massacre where somebody did the same thing with a pistol. So that's when the pistol ban came in. And don't get me wrong, some criminals are armed. 100%. But because the police aren't armed, a lot of the criminals aren't armed. The narcotic world, yes. But the police that would go into those situations would be specialist firearms teams. So it's fine. No, and they still are carrying knives and things, but then the police do then at that point have pepper spray or CS gas equivalent. Taser. Most police now carry taser. And as somebody that helped test UK taser, I worked for a firm that designed the taser holster for the UK police force years ago, and as part of that thing I did a taser training day. It's certainly an experience getting tasered. And there's enough police now. We've got fully. There's roaming police patrols that are armed that are on the streets all the time. So as much as you don't, the policeman you might see walking down the street doesn't have a gun on his or her side. Somebody is very close by in a vehicle that is able to deploy very quickly, that has the required hardware should it be needed. And that seems to work for us. Seems to work very well for us. You know, I wish the firearms laws weren't quite as strict as they are, but that's never going to change. Oh, I need a way across. But it's alright. You get to a point of just accepting it, don't you? That's the trouble. You don't have a choice. Oh, I'm lucky. I work in a world with firearms. My hobby, when I'm not streaming, is teaching firearms. Part of my hobby is teaching firearms to young adults. So I teach people to shoot and handle weapon systems from the age of 12 to 18. But there won't be a bridge now. I'm not walking to the edge of the map because that's cheating. Great gorge this though, isn't it? Oh, there's a bridge. Enjoy. Thank you, and thanks for the conversation. Always appreciated. Ooh, you star. No. Didn't want to do that. Empty. That's better. Is there? I'm right down there. There's a well in that town. There is a well in that town. Next to the police station. Hi, Beardy. How are you? We're nail hunting. And clothing, because our clothing's all ruined. Pretty much a goblin life on GoblinZ. Yeah, Easter weekend can be busy for people. Busy for yourself, I'm guessing. I had to rebuild the server. That's my busy. Yesterday it just kept crashing and we couldn't work out why. So I did a complete rebuild this morning. Which is a good way to spend a Sunday, I suppose. You should do. You should do. The rebuild's been different. So it is a complete rebuild. And it is a nice rebuild. Slightly different. A couple of different mods in here. I give you a can of tuna and a piece of fruit to start you off. Unheard of. Yes, it's fine. It's held fine. I went live 1 o'clock-ish and no crashes since. It's a different server now. It's just working. Jacket. Last. So these books give you skill advance when you read them, which we'll do now. No, I thought that was a sharpening stone. Don't do it to me, game. So that book is skills, gathering skills, so we'll read it. And we got 150 XP off that book. Which is bringing gathering just clear of getting our first gathering point. Actually, we've got one in gathering already, have we? Yes. I love the skill mod. And then when you die, I have all the skills reset for everybody. So it really is. You've got survival, gathering, hunting, and survival, crafting, hunting, and gathering that you can spend points in. And you get the skills for the things that you do. It's not there are different skill ones out there. This one's quite lightweight compared to them. Yeah, reading with your hands. Yeah, I know. But still. So I've got an advanced weapon skill mod in, rather than Morty's weapons. So now when you push high tier mill, tier 4 or above, you get scopes that will fit to most weapon platforms. Which is why I've got an SKS with a hell of a good scope on it. Our next objective is like here, and then follow that along. Okay. Gassed area. Over the dam. And you can then go underneath ground and go right underneath the water there. There's a complex that goes right underneath the water. Just need a full NBC suit to do it. Very nice scope. Everything's a little bit ruined. I've made military boots now spawn in military areas that are pristine. So players are rewarded for pushing military. The airdrops are all over, but they're all base building airdrops with a little bit of ammo thrown in for good measure. Normal goblin stuff, like if you don't get a map unless you find one, or kill a priest because he wants to show you the way. Goblin humour. Okay, so now our next objective feels like miles away, it's not, is there. One day I'll tell you what I do for a living and you'll piss yourself. I think you already have, which is why I said goblin humour at the end of it. Is that fair? The map comment. Yes. Yeah, you already have. Yeah. I know. I realise what you do for a living. So obviously in the last 2 months I've spent a lot of time with because I've been dealing with Mum's funeral. I got the last bit on Thursday. Got the interment of the ashes on Thursday. But it's all gone fine. Yeah, been an interesting couple of months. Lots of me saying we need to have a religious service because Mother was religious, but I'm not. And then being actually really good, like really good, with not making me feel bad, but also including the bits in for Mum. I've been very impressed. Like, really, really good. Yeah, very, very. The vicar that took the cremation and the service of remembrance that we had afterwards was amazing. Unfortunately, he's now moved on, so we've got his replacement on Thursday for the interment of the ashes. But I've also arranged for all the people that Mum was at church with before she got dementia to be there for the interment of the ashes, because they would want to have their religious goodbye, if that makes sense, because that was who Mum went to church with and what she was really involved with. The collection on the service and afterwards was for the local parish church, and which raised just over £1,000, which they'll put to good use. Yeah. We had some interesting... It was the right thing to do, though. So, from Mum's perspective, the church was her life. Don't get me wrong, the church had been brilliant. So, the village agreed with the vicar that once, because Mum's funeral plans paying for all the vicar's and the church costs, but the church have said they'll reimburse it to me because as far as they're concerned, they shouldn't be charging one of their own to be buried or to be cremated and to be all that sort of stuff. And then when it's refunded back to me, I'll probably just donate it back to them straight away as a donation, because that's the right thing to do. Or I'll ask for something else for it to be done with. There was... Mum, a few years ago, was made a free woman of the village. First time it's ever been done. And they had a commission from a local artist, a glass vase, which probably cost a couple of £100 back then. That artist now has become very sought after, and that vase now is worth about 25,000. And I was asked what did I want to do with it, so I donated it to the church. Because I don't want that vase. What would I do with it? It's got an inscription from the church to Mum on it. So I've donated it to the church for them to use it. Which I think they were a little bit, really? I did have a little skirmish with the church warden, because the church warden said to me, oh, well, it's your mum's funeral, it'll be a formal affair. And I was like, no. He said, but it'll be black suits and ties, won't it? And I was like, no. I said, if people don't own a suit, then I still want them turning up. And he wasn't very happy, but it's not his funeral to arrange, it was mine. But that's the only skirmish I had. Everyone else was amazing. Yeah, I can't falter how well the church has been. They've been unbelievably good. But Mum gave her life to that parish. You know, she did everything for 40, 50 years. That parish was everything. She ran all the groups and she... Yeah. And they see it as they're looking after one of their own. And I'm glad that her friends will be there on Thursday. It'll be nice that they're there at the end. And we're putting her in with Dad. So the two of them, if Mum's right, the two of them are reunited in eternity. And if I'm right, well, what does it matter? And she's where she needs to be, basically. Oh, the other thing you can do on here is if you get, where are we? Pouches, they'll fit on your belt, like plate pouches, and you can wear them on the back of your body. So it gives you more storage. You can wear, obviously, a shoulder bag as well as a rucksack at the same time. Yeah, very much so. What I don't want to do is just take it back as cash and spend it on something. I want it to go... It has to be something that the village can use. It would be nice with something like a park bench, something like that. Maybe something... Maybe a bench within the churchyard, where people can sit and reflect. Gas zone going in. Yeah, and that way it works for people that are religious, but equally people that aren't and maybe just want to go and sit and think about a loved one. The conversation I had with the vicar, basically, and he was speaking along, and I said, look, I need to stop you. I need to explain to you I'm not religious. And he was okay, and he's boom, boom, boom. We talked about it. He said, it's not a problem. And I said, but how I've always seen it, and I stick to it, is I don't have a problem with people that are, as long as they don't expect to try and convert me. Now, I wouldn't, I'm not married, but if I was going to get married, I wouldn't get married in a church, because that's in God's eyes, and if you don't believe in a God, that's not fair on the church, and it's not the right thing to do. So I've always seen it as a respectful thing that I don't believe, so why should I pretend to believe just because society wishes me to? I'm certain the parish priest in concern with the parish council could help you with that idea. Yeah, and they would. And they'd all like it. They'd all find that. They'd all see how that would work. And it just, a bench, little brass plaque on it, boom, 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 in the memory of Mrs. Goblin. Date of birth, date of death, rest in peace, and her nickname. Or something just in memory of nickname. A place for people to sit and reflect. Just something like that. And we don't do, my family weren't drinkers, so a wake wasn't really a wake. It was a, let's go to the village hall and have cups of tea and cake. But it was all covered by the village. People that weren't churchy went there and set everything up. The farming community went and paid for all private catering. Okay. I'll DM you obviously away from here, with details of the church and the parish and the church website, because they've got an amazing. It's an old, obviously it's an old Church of England church, but they've got what they refer to as a rood screen. So one of those very old painted screens inside the church that's sort of very well known around the world, supposedly. I don't understand it all, but yeah, I'll send you information on it. And my speech actually involved bits of growing up. So when I mum's funeral speech, basically, when I was there and as a child, we used to sit at the back of the church. Oh, I will do, not a problem. So we used to sit at the back of the church, and then when my gran moved to the village, we were upgraded and we came halfway along. And I said, in my speech at the funeral, I said, if Mum is looking down now, she'll be quite surprised that I'm sat at the front, because that's not my place. That's not where the Goblin family sit. Which got a wry chuckle from everybody, because all the farming families used to sit at the front. The great and the good. Where do we want to cross? I don't think it matters. No, because we can cross up the next bit. And the piece of music I had played at the church was Jerusalem. Mum loved it. I like it from its rugby connections, as did the farming community. So it sort of covered all the bases. Idea where that is in the world you might happen to be, rather than a niche piece of information. I may be wrong, but I have a hint. So I'm in the southwest. Oh, completely, 100%. Yeah, massively. I like Jerusalem. It covers a lot of it covers everything. It covers the religious side for religious people, but it covers me with the whole English pride and pride in my country and rugby and that side. No, so it's southwest. So I live in Exeter. And the parish is about 20 miles from me. And when I move, I'll be moving to 12 miles closer-ish when I inherit in the summer. So as much as Thursday will be difficult, it won't be. It'll be the end of a very painful 10 years of dementia. I did see Mum after she'd passed. I went over there and they said, "Oh, do you want to?" And I actually said to the care home, "Said, can I see Mum?" It was difficult. but I could see that it wasn't Mum anymore, which was fine. I'm going to DM you. This is getting interesting. That's okay. And then when I'm not streaming, I'll answer and send you over all the details. Give me some nails. All these cars in one place. Yeah, 10 years of dementia. She was diagnosed 10 years ago. She went into the home 7 years ago. I joke, but I joke semi-seriously that we turned a profit on it. That's what I wanted. That's massive. Now all I need is a box of nails. 2 hammers. Oh, that is unheard of. Right, what are we throwing away? That. Hammers make sharpening stones on here. Which I'll show you now because we can use one up and get themselves a sharpening stone, which is awesome. So, find yourself a nice big rock. Grab a hammer. Get a large stone. So, when Mum was first diagnosed, we sold her bungalow and paid for an insurance scheme that would cover her until end of life. Got large stone. Get your second hammer, wherever I put it. And now you can split it or make a sharpening stone. So they got a doctor out to assess her and said they gave her between 5 and 7 years. So the insurance we paid was until she died, but it was going to be between 5 and 7 years based upon the yearly cost. Yearly costs went up, as they would, but it was still between 5 and 7 years. Because Mum was in the home till 10 years, the 3 years more the insurance company paid out, and we didn't, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it was frightening when we first bought it. I mean, we paid 280,000 for her care, but we did that so if her sister died and I died, Mum would still have care. And then we paid for her funeral, we paid for everything. So if both her sister and me died and Mum was still alive, everything would be covered still. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I get what you're meaning. So yeah, so we made a profit without making a profit, but they made a loss. Yeah, that was an insurance company that lost out by fees. The fees were, by that point, 55,000 a year. So 165,000 they lost out by. Can't complain at that. Because a lot of people they turn a good profit on. Yeah. Oh, and now it's raining. Well, it is DayZ, I suppose. Certainly not. So yeah, it's... And seeing that she, I mean, her and Dad bought the bungalow originally for £5,500. When Dad died, the mortgage was paid off, and when we sold the place, we got just under £500,000 for it. I'd say that it worked out pretty well. And by the time that my inheritance gets through 3-ish months' time, I'll be debt-free. I'll own my own place. I'll have some investments for the future. I'll be in a better position than I've ever been, and that's a nice ending to the chapter. Now I can get rid of the RV now, so if we get truly murdered, I don't have to worry about it. I know exactly where I'm going. We still don't have nails, but I know where I'm going. Yeah, very much so. I've never been debt-free since I was 18. I've always been paying back a loan or a credit card, and as soon as I cleared one off, I'd get another one. That won't happen again. I'll be able to buy a 2-bed flat. I'll be able to clear my debt. I'll be able to put a lump into savings, and a secondary lump into just a interest savings account that's attached to my main account. I'll be better off by about, after bills and everything else, I'll be better off by about £1,000 a month better off. Okay, no problem, Beardy. Yeah, so I'll be about £1,000 a month better off, so that'll feel like a pay rise. Which means I can afford to do a bit more. Maybe go on holiday in the future, upgrade the PC without having to worry about using credit to do it. Which is why I'm going to have some money just in a interest savings account. So when I want to buy stupid things, I can do it using my savings and then pay the savings back rather than pay a credit card back. I won't need a credit card, arguably, so I'll have access to emergency funds. Oh, that was a steam crash, wasn't it? Oh, no, it wasn't. Still working? Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to be debt-free. I really can't. It's, for me, it's a massive... To know that in 3 months' time, when I get paid, that will go on bills only for the house that I'll own, or the property I'll own, and everything else is mine, is massive. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously massive. I'm 50. I'll be 54 in August. I've had debt since I was 18. By the time I'm 54, I'll be debt-free. That's scary. I'll own a house outright, or a property outright. Even more scary. And I'll have... So one of the things that through work I can do is I can overpay my pension, and as long as I'm willing to leave the money in the pot for 10 years or more, the overpayment, anything I put in, they'll increase by 12 times. So, and I can put a maximum of £100 a month in. So my aim is to overpay my pension by £100 a month for the next 10 years, on top of my savings, because then that £100 they times by 12, as long as you keep it there for 10 years. So, and then when I retire, I can take 50% of it as on top of my lump sum as an extra lump sum, and the other 50% goes in to boost my pension. So even if I just say for every £100 I put in, I'm getting £600 back in 10 years' time, that's massive. So that'll certainly be done, because I'd be stupid not to. Yeah, it'll make a massive difference to my life. I'm sure of it. And I have a good pension now because I have a government pension. But the overpaying of it and getting that boost to it will make a massive difference. And that's what I'll use as savings. I'll set up probably a stocks and shares ISA as well, just because I can afford to do it. And it will give me a feeling that I'm dabbling a little bit in the markets, which I quite like the idea of. And I'll have a little bit left over for working capital-ish, depending. So there's two properties I'm looking at. One, it's been on the market for quite a while, and I know why. It's not a problem. It's just it's right next to some factories. People don't want to buy it, and the leasehold on it is just under 200 years. Again, people are like, "Oh, I'm not sure," and it's harder to get obviously a mortgage on properties that have shorter and shorter leaseholds. So I get that, by the by. For me, it doesn't bother me. I don't need a mortgage. The person I'm going to leave the property to, when I go, for her it'll be amazing, and she'll still be able to leave it to her child when she goes. So me, when I die, I'll be helping out 2 other people. So that's in itself is awesome. If I can get that place, brilliant. That's if that place is gone, then the other place I'm looking, they have. Oh, Steam, stop playing up. They have things coming onto the market all the time. But they're £20,000 more, which means I've got less in savings to worry about. Unfortunately. But that doesn't massively matter. If I don't have the savings. So yeah, so I'll inherit enough for one of the 2 properties. If it's a £20,000 less one, I'll have a bit more in savings. If it's a £20,000 more one, I'll have less in savings, but I'll have a nicer property. And yeah, and then it will get left to a very, 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 and she knows that it's getting left to her. I think I gave her the fright of her life when I was like, when I had the conversation along the lines of, you know, when I die, I don't want you to die, yeah, but it's going to happen one day. You know, when I die, yeah, well, I'm going to leave you the property. You're going to do what? I'm like, yeah, because, yeah, for whatever reason. And I'll write the will out in such a way that if both I die and you die, your daughter will inherit the property on her turning 18. It'll be held in trust until then. Because I like to pay things forward. And who else am I going to... Yes, I could leave it to a charity, and they'd sell it, and by that point, the 150, 160, 170, 200,000, whatever they get for it at the point, would help them. Or they'll rent it out and make an income. But actually giving it to someone... Another thing with a slightly more expensive property is that you could sell and buy something else in, say, 10 years. Realise profit is a way of leaving people property. Yeah. Yeah, no. Both of them would do the same. The other reason for going for a 2-bedroom place is because... Oh, Twinkies van. Because I recognise that if in 10 years' time when I retire I'm not as mobile as I am now, then I could sell it, downgrade to a 1-bedroom place, because it's easier to sell a 2-bedroom, and free up some capital. The cheaper one is ground floor, so I would stay there. Potato. Biscuits, fruit. rice. Cookies. Yeah, it can be. It's a 7-year rule. As long as I don't die within the next 8 years. And it also the amount that I'm... If the amount that the person's inheriting is under a certain amount, you don't pay inheritance tax as well. Yeah. So certainly I'm excited. This year is going to be a roller coaster of emotions, but it's going to be a really good year. You know, in 12 weeks' time, I'll be looking at a property to buy. Oh, here we go, Mr. Wolves. They will be coming from that way normally, not from behind me, unless they've got a pack up there. Get onto the road, they'll be easier to shoot. Get that scope off. No. Because it'll be a nightmare to shoot with that scope on. Put that. There we go. So if you want to look up the parish church, it's Plymptree Parish Church, Plymtree, in a little village in mid-Devon. But I'll send you all the details over anyway. I'll sometimes on here, because Evil Goblin's involved, you'll get 2 packs at once. I'm kind like that. So the person I'm going to leave the place to is going to actually help me choose a place. So, because she knows one day it'll be hers. And also help me choose the furniture, because one day it'll be hers. So, though she's still a little bit like she can't believe it's happening. There you go. Funny, everybody I know that's religious says very much the same thing. But even people like me that are not religious agree that it's amazing. Ah, it's the right thing to do. You know, it's not like I'm paying for it. I'm getting it as an inheritance. I don't have any children. She is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, even though we're what we are. There's a second pack. Somebody sunbathing. And it's nice to be able to help other people out. We do need to go that way, but not with the wolf pack up there. We'll pick a different route over there. Safer route. So yeah, today would have been a busy day for you. I get that. I also, so I'm an adult instructor with the cadet forces. After a 21-year break from doing it, I've gone back in the last year. And so I have a fair amount of dealings with our padre as well. And our padre he was brought up as Roman Catholic and then converted to Church of England to become a vicar. But the system kicks in, you know, when Mum died, and then I'm dealing with all this stuff, and then I've got the padre from work calling me up saying, do I need anything? Then I've got the welfare officer from work calling up to say, do I need anything? And then the padre from cadets phoning me up saying, do I need anything? I'm like, look guys, I'm fine. You know, luckily, not luckily, it's the wrong word, I was more prepared because of the amount of time it had been going on. Do not like the fact that the walls haven't appeared yet. Yeah. So the pack is here. Trigger point is along this road or about there. So what we need now is 2 boxes of nails. Do what I need to do. Yeah. Exactly. So I was a cadet myself, and then I joined the regular army. When I left the regular army, I went back to cadets as an adult instructor. Did about 15 years of it, but worked out that I was doing every weekend, 2 nights, 3 nights a week, running a detachment, and I wanted a life, so I left. Then when I last year, no, 2 years ago, the current QM of my cadet force was coming into work all the time because he was dealing with us for something that was happening, and he kept saying to me, the OC, who I know, the OC was one of my cadets originally, he was saying, the OC really needs instructors. When are you coming back? And I was like, no, I'm not coming back. And he's like, yeah, you will. And then someone else that I knew from the old days, the old RSM, who's now a second lieutenant, was in picking up rations from me. And he was like, so when are you going to join again? And I was like, I'm not. And he's like, you are. And then he just kept texting me, have you joined yet? Have you joined yet? Have you joined yet? Like every hour, until eventually I just went online and joined. So I'm back in the system. 2 nights a week and some weekends. And like a mad fool, I'm now the CQMS for the squadron, or SQMS. So I get to do that. But I'm no longer, when I was in my 30s, running around doing the fieldcraft stuff was brilliant. Now I'm in my 50s, I can't run around and do the fieldcraft stuff anymore. So I need a different job. Yes. Yeah. Ellie crash. Won't be any nails on it, not worth it for me at the moment. Do I still have wire with me? I do. So that's 30 or 40 nails if I get pliers. So I'm trying to get the balance right with cadets now, because cadets is a Tuesday night and Thursday night. I work late for the army on a Wednesday night, which only really leaves me Mondays, Fridays and weekends if I'm not away. So and cadets being cadets are very much like, you're back, do everything, do everything, do everything. And I'm like, no, I'm back. That means I know what everything means. I don't want to be that person. No. So within the ACF, they're all, apart from some of the permanent staff, everyone is volunteers. There's a new pack coming for me. And the permanent staff, the colonel tends to be a reservist colonel, but ours isn't at the moment. He's come through the cadet force ranks. Our deputy commandant is an ex-cadet sergeant that worked his way up as an adult and then became deputy commandant eventually. As I said, the current OC of my squadron is my ex-cadet. When I left 21 years ago, she was still an army cadet, and I let her have my webbing and orders book when I left. And then when I had my interview to come back with her, she was like, do you want your orders book back? And I was like, no, you can keep it. You know? So she'd kept it and used it all the way through her cadet career as a adult instructor. But yeah, it's getting the balance right. I don't want to be doing cadets 24/7. I want to have a life outside that isn't always cadets. As with most things in life, it's about balance. And a lot of the people that I knew 21 years ago that have stayed in, not many have, but the ones that have stayed in are all now majors and above, whereas I left as a colour sergeant and I've come back as a sergeant. So, and they're still double taking some of them. They're like, I know you. Yeah. 21 years ago we used to drink together in the mess. Did we? Yeah. And you've come back to us. Yep. Like a fool. But it is good. Oh, more cars to search. But this is DayZ, so searching cars for nails is sort of what you do, isn't it? All tomatoes. Putty. One box of nails. Box of nails. Third box of nails. Don't want to get involved in a fight. 3 boxes of nails is enough. Now, I need to make it to a certain place. I need to get a wall up. And 2 doors. Now 1 door, 2 walls. And I can relax. Ish. Oh, I know. First ever wipe I did on here about 2 years ago. I lived in that Livonia tower. Oh, because it's my server, stay away from the barbed wire, because you'll cut yourself. Yep, still Chiemsee. My favourite map for a small pop server. The only thing I don't like is that scope, the image there. Hi, John. Look, John, 3 boxes of nails, a code lock, sharpening stone, lots of tools. We do need to go for another swim, guys, but we're picking a route in, basically. It's getting serious. Getting very serious. Because I'm building in something I've never built in before. Still planning it all in my head how it's going to work. not want to do that. Yeah, wind turbines. I'm not living in a wind turbine. Though the idea would be nice. Or a swimming pool with a diving board. Not living in that either. But again, the idea of living at the top of the swimming pool would be amazing. We have to go for another swim near where the wind turbines are. Well, it is an SKS, but we've just got a Gucci scope on it. Just know with harder zombies on here, you want to hit them with something that's going to kill them. If you're shooting in an emergency. Right, now we need to swim across here. Dodging the zombies. I need to check the bus station first. There might be a piece of plate. Sometimes this bus station spawns plate. Sorry, press vests. Not today then. So the aim now is I need to get the door up. And 4 walls. This might be a challenge. Though I could do it initially with no, I need to do that to stop people taking over the rest of it. Or I could just go to the other property that's nearby and then branch out from there. Or we could just go for the normal property that I always live at, which would be easy. Choices, choices, choices. Or the greenhouse. I could do that with just a wall with a door. That gives us lots of storage options. Yeah, normal property. If I had chuckles here as well, I'd have cover for building all that stuff. I haven't. Yeah, because it's just me building it. I have to be a bit more practical. Hi, thanks, John. It's yeah. It's surprising. Well, yeah. So 500 subs was 16 months ago, and we're now on just shy of 1200. It took me 3 years to get to 500, roughly. No, 2 years to get to 500. But that viral video is what's done it for me, and still does it every day with subs coming in. And then when Fresh Spawns did a video on the same map 2 weeks ago, I got another boost because people were searching for YouTube videos on that map, and I got another big jump. But none of my the video I did for Tula on her PvE server, that's had 11,000 views. But they're my two biggies. One that's now at 52,000 views, and it's still going up by 5,000 views a month on average. Could hit 100,000 this year, ish. Well, no, not this year. Within 12 months. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. I hate doing this. Knowing how many people are on, so there's 5 of us on currently. Hope to see the Dancing Goblins. No, I haven't seen the Dancing Goblins for a while. I'd have to jump into Botrix and see why they're not playing. I had forgotten about the Dancing Goblins. There'll be something in Botrix that they're not working for. But because I haven't streamed really properly for a while, someone's been through here. That's always got loot in it. There's a GIF I've got set up for when memberships come in, but it's obviously not working, that gives a dancing goblin. Oh, certainly not. If you'd seen me dance, you wouldn't want to see it a second time. The only thing I dance to is hard trance. I hear you, zombie. I've got my serious head on now. Where is it? There. Four, 8, 12. I need 2 more logs. No, I need more than that because that will get me. I need 3 more logs to get a door up. Right with 2 if that's what it gives me. I do recognise there's a green barrel over there, but now's not the time. Only 3. It was my little bonus to people. You can stack 3 logs at a time. You need 4 for a door. You stack nails as well. Uh, 300 and something. 298, something like that. I just put and metal pieces are slightly smaller now as well, because I do recognise there are some solo players on here, which makes base building even harder. And you can stack those up to 60. Yeah. My mother's side was Scottish. I'm certainly not. Might be enough. Do I have another axe? Yeah. Been here for a while. There. Where's Mr. Codelock? Come on. Stop flapping. One door. When you get 2 doors up, life just becomes easier, doesn't it? But without a flag, we don't. Not that that's a problem, but without a flag, that door would. The door won't delete, but the code lock will fall off in about 7 days. So it means that people that abandon their bases or stop playing the server, after a while, all the code locks will fall off, all the loot will despawn, but the base is available for somebody else to take over. I realise there's certain things I need to drop off before we go and do what I've got to do next. Because if we get shot, I don't want to lose them. The pin server message without a location. Yeah. So no, I'd have to add a different mod for that. So yeah, and I couldn't find one that did that and the other things I wanted it to do. Oh yeah, that's why the airdrops should encourage PvP. Right, we've got a flag up. That's on flag cover. That's good. I need 8, 9. I need one more log. One more log will get what I need to do. No workbenches now on here. The next thing you see me build will make more sense when I build it, and that doesn't give you much. But it will make a lot of sense when you see what I'm building. So all we've got for storage on here are barrels and boxes, but we have a second type of box. So I'm going to build a second type of box, which will have 60 slots, 2 rifle slots and a pistol slot. Because my aim is to get stuff out of that barrel and turn that barrel into a cooker. Because then that barrel can be used upstairs as a cooker without me having to go to where I'm exposed. But I want to get that box built first of all. Because if we go out on the ground looting, we've hardly got any space left now to put anything. And where we're going next, we'll have loot. Where we're going next is actually a well, but after that, where we're going, we'll have loot. As soon as I can make a fireplace upstairs, the safer I'll be when I need to cook or dry out or sleep. I love this base building mod. They're actually testing in their experimental at the moment not a replacement, an upgrade that will give us 2 tiers. So we'll end up with a metal tier. What happened? Oh, did I ruin it there? Yeah, that's okay. Ah. Yeah, sometimes it was a little bit... Yeah, that mod was just causing problems, I think. Yeah, massively. And they're talking about having their own explosive mod as well. And DayZ's getting its own code lock mod at some point. So, wooden crate. So, wooden crate is your normal wooden crate, but it has 10 more slots. Weapons crate. It's what you want. It's still rag base building. This is just almost officially vanilla mod that's given this little bit of storage here. And then it's all barrels for everything else. So I'll put that on the floor for a moment. So that's given me that. Which has 60 slots, 2 rifles and a pistol. Which is massive. And then I've got an extra barrel mod in. So you've got all your normal barrels, and then you've got other barrels that, some of them are stupid barrels like Hello Kitty, and some of them are camouflage, but some of them will say gun on it and show a picture of the rifle, medic and show a picture of a first aid symbol. So you can get those barrels back to organise your base with. But I love rag base building. I think it's a very good mod. So, next stop is the other farm. That's where the well is. They're just not called that. They're called like Hello Cat. Yeah, for obvious reasons. Welcome back. So that now, no, it's not smaller, it was stacked to 30. Come on, Mr. Zombie. Now we'll go on. Now we don't have morties on here. I don't know what it's going to be like in here for gear. Keep moving, Goblin. Move, pick up, move. Tired. How surprising. Not the place to be tired, Goblin. Not the place to be tired. It's not so good for loot without Mortys. UN berry. We need a little boost to sleep, and I don't want to sleep here really, but we don't have a lot of choice because I've just got to walk at that barrel home, haven't I? I know I'm too wet and I'm too cold. Just need enough sleep to be able to get myself home with that barrel. Yep, and the can of Coke will save me, because that will give me a boost. Sugar will keep me awake. Magazine on it? No. Yeah. It's a telling sign, isn't it, when I I have a server where it takes 2 rounds of 7.62 39 to the head to kill a military zombie. Yeah, the crocs. No, I thought that. Oh, that's not 9mm, isn't it? I'm getting tired. Tell that. But if I can get this home, the other barrel can become a fire barrel. This can become storage. And then I can have fires upstairs, which means I can dry out and I can sleep next to a fire, which is massive. Fair point. Yeah, I'm not a... My problem with the crocodiles was they're just not realistic enough. And they will spot you 600 meters away and they'll come through multiple terrain to get to you. It's just a bit too cartoony for me. Is that another Pinky's van? Oh. And to put them on other servers, I'd need to map out where they would be, how they would act. It would be a new event. You've got to then work out what event do you want them to take priority over. Do you want crocodiles over wolves, crocodiles over bears, crocodiles over zombies, crocodiles over loot? And so you've got to work out all those type of priorities. You really need a test server so you can set it up and make sure it's working and then test it with players. It's a lot of work unless someone's done the work for you. And I'm not invested that much in this. Oh, tune up, thank you. I'll do. License from John McClane, that was. He helped with the map and offered his Twinkies van. You're going to get more of them now because I've set things up slightly differently on the server. I've made it a little bit easier to hopefully get some more players on. Yeah. Yes, you could sit in a barn or a shed and its head would keep coming through and you could just keep punching its head until an hour later the thing was dead. And it was like, yeah, I'm just, no. It's the same with the snake mod. I don't like snakes. But the snake mod, the snake will spot you at 1,000 meters and then keep coming for you until it hits you with poison. It's not realistic. You know, the most aggressive snake I've ever played with in the real world was the Fer de Lance, and its territory was like 10 meters. And no. Oh, things are glitchy on here. The code is glitchy, unfortunately. Oh, hello, Mr. Zombie. We're going to have a chat just at the point where you scream. Yeah. So when I ran the jungle mod once, I ran Namausk Jungle. I wanted to put snakes on that, but because when you turn the snow off Namausk and turn it into a tropical island, run it spring, then add the jungle trees to it, you can make it quite easily look like something in the Pacific. I have a place to be. Before we do anything, we just need a little boost to sleep. Yeah, so you run Spring Namausk, and that gets rid of all the snow off the map, and then you add the jungle trees to it, and it turns all the tree areas into jungle trees. And then you warm the temperatures up, and you actually end up then with this island surrounded by other islands. It's quite nice. Yeah, it's a different way of doing it. And if we have a server, if I have my own server when I buy my own place in about a year's time, because I'm not going to get a server straight away, if I actually have a physical server in the geek room, then it will run this map, and it will probably run Spring Jungle Namausk, and then probably something like Pacific Northwest. Each has 40 slot servers, all of them survivally like this, and then all of them linked on that portal thing where you can have 3 servers that are all linked together, and you go to an area that's a portal area, and when you step through it, your character appears on the other map. So then you can have stuff split over the 3 maps. People could play the map they want to play, and they could live on a different map, or you could say people can only build on Chiemsee. You could have loot boxes spawning on the Namausk, and you could have the keys spawning for it on Pacific Northwest. You could do stuff like that. Or you could have just 3 independent servers. But because I like survival servers, and because we know DayZ 2 is coming, and we know that they're going to be pushing more on the survival side. I know we're still a few years off it. I want to be in a position that when DayZ 2 comes out, I can have a survival server. but that means I want to be able to host it myself, so I can tweak it with the right mods. Yeah. But I'd need a portal that didn't look like a portal. So I'd need to do a portal that was at the edge of the map that maybe looked like a railway station, and then you'd go there, you'd get into a cart, and then you'd appear at a cart at the edge of the map of another one. Something like that. Because it would, in my head, otherwise you're jumping through portals and going through alien worlds. It would just be quite nice. And then whatever you're carrying on you take through the portal. Yeah. And players have to download the 3 maps and the 3 servers, but you have identical servers on all, identical mods on all 3, apart from the map itself mod for each of them. That sounded like an explosion. When to wake up. Right, guys, I think I'm going to call it there, because I've been running for 2 hours 41 now. Thanks for watching, thanks for the interaction, thanks for the chat. Beardy, I see I've had a DM from you, so I'll answer it once I get off. We're looking at about a year and a half away before we look at doing that, Beardy. Probably get it there, but when it does, I'll shout out to you and get your help on it. I'm sure you'll have some input to put into things that we could do to make it work. But again, it's one of those things where it's easier to run to if you're running your own server, because otherwise you're having to rent 3 servers. Yeah, that could have happened just as equally. Guys, I will be on tomorrow afternoon, but tomorrow morning the car's going off for 4 new tyres. It's that time where I've had 2 MOTs, and both MOTs they've told me that I needed to replace the tyres, and told me we told you a year ago to replace the tyres, and you didn't, and you really need to replace them, and it's due the MOT in 2 months' time. So tomorrow it gets new tyres. So tomorrow morning's sort of taken up with that. But tomorrow afternoon, evening, I'll be on. I'll be about Tuesday all day. In the evening, I'm off cadetting. Wednesday, I'm around all day. Thursday, it's my mum's interment, final ashes into the hole, into the grave, sorry. Friday, I'm about. Saturday, Sunday, I'm about. And then back to work the following week. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you again soon.